the beginning, there was a free press. Well, not really, but it sounded good. By the end of the millennium, 5 men controlled the world's media, and they all had that certain je ne sais quoi. Yet there was one man who operated outside their control. He and his motley crew were known as the People's Democratic Republic of Television. Their mission? To bring the people the awful truth. Tonight, from somewhere inside the PDR TV, please welcome Michael Moore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How was it for 5,000 years men ran the world when we are the weaker sex? Right? We don't live as long. We die 5 to 10 years before women do. Well, don't applaud that. I mean, our bodies fall apart, our hair falls out, our brains shrink. We're too weak to put down the toilet seat. We get lost easily, and then a chemical imbalance prohibits us from asking for directions. One guy is applauding this down here. She's on to you, sir. Nothing's going to happen tonight, all right? You might as well just go in with the other guys on this, all right? We're not as smart as women. We have lower scores on the college entrance exams. We have no aesthetic, right? And we have no sense of what looks right. Yeah. Sir, you've been on the sodomobile a bit too long. We can't dance. We commit most of the crimes. We have penises. I mean, it's... No, really, I mean, we have... Our genitals were placed on the outside of our bodies to either freeze or to be gnawed off by wild animals. And most importantly, we can't give birth, right? I mean, we can't keep the species going. And ever since they've invented test tube stuff, all they need to do is extract the thing they need from us, and we're useless at that point, right? I mean, what good are we? You know, except for maybe killing each other. We're really good at that, aren't we? We're really good at starting wars and waging wars, right? But actually, I have to say, there has been one particular sign lately that maybe something is changing. I want you to check out this investigation I've conducted to see just what's happened to our Department of Defense. Throughout history, the United States has survived because big men, bold men, manly men have led us into battle. Until now. Meet William Cohen, our Secretary of Defense. Is it just me, or is something wrong here? Oh, what was Clinton thinking? I mean, okay, so he has no military experience. But how about knowing how much A1 sauce to put on his army hash? Here, back it up. Watch him look over to the private to see if he should stop with the sauce. Jeez. He even tries to sit down before the commander-in-chief. Then he changes his mind. Then he pretends he didn't try to sit down. Whew. And what's worse, he's a poet. Here's one poem he wrote about hitting a deer on the highway. The Wound, by William Cohen. Forgive me, for I know what I have done. I have taken a child of the woods in the gun sight of my hood. Can you believe that? He's all broke up for hitting a freaking deer. And he's supposed to defend us from, like, all the bad people? If General Patton had seen Bambi standing in the middle of the road, he'd not only hit the sucker, he'd back up and run over it just to make sure it never did that again. In addition to being a poet, Cohen insisted on getting married on Valentine's Day. The most pain-in-the-ass holiday for all guys. Expensive flowers, stale chocolates, and the only holiday with no football on TV. Whoa, ooh, see that? Here, back it up. See, she goes to kiss him on the lips, and he ducks it. I'm not even going to bother to show you what happened on the wedding night. And here's the biggest clue of all. His middle name is Sebastian. How can we sleep soundly at night with this guy protecting us? Our enemies around the world are laughing at us.
But he looks to be a gentle human being. And,
He doesn't look strong and stern and the kind of guy that would... I mean, what does your Secretary of Defense look like?
he's well built.
You hear that? Well built. He could probably snap Cohen's neck like a day-old biscuit. Voices by William Cohen. We skipped our laughter into the sea and made love in a castle of sand. Oh, this is supposed to scare Saddam? It scares me. I had to expose this problem. I brought 3 representatives of America's worst enemies to the Pentagon to see if Cohen would come out and face them like a man.
Mr. Cohen, my country is strong and your country is weak. You would not dare attack us.
Are you a hawk, dove, or chicken?
Your country is forces. Our country is strong.
Well, these guys were pretty mean-looking. Maybe I was being too tough.
Secretary Cohen, come down and arm wrestle me.
Geez, even I could take this little shrimp.
1, 2, 3, go.
I tried to arrange a meeting, but Cohen sent a spokesman instead. Make that spokesperson.
He doesn't have time to write poetry now. He's
I don't
this
believe
is an
that.
extremely demanding job.
I'm telling you,
And
late at night, that man is sitting around writing little limericks
Late at
and
night, he's
sonnets.
sleeping.
Do you think he creates the element of fear that is necessary
I think that
in our enemies?
I think that sensitive people can be tough, and tough people can be sensitive.
No, they can't.
He set up this.
And his spokesperson was living proof. What was your sport?
I go down and splash in the pool.
It was time for me to confront this coward face to face.
Secretary Cohen, Michael Moore, can I talk to you about your book of poetry?
I gotta run right
Your
now.
book
I
of-
get your plane.
Well, I read your book. You seem like a very sensitive man. You got married on Valentine's Day. Don't you think you're in the wrong job being Secretary of Defense?
Not at all. Preservation of national security is the most important thing. We couldn't write poetry if we didn't have a secure country.
But for a sensitive guy like you, you know, you're more of a lover than a fighter.
Also a former athlete, so
But are you a lover or a fighter?
I believe in our national security and the need to protect it, so we can do it through having a strong defense.
Would you arm wrestle me right now? I just want to know if you're a lover or a fighter. Come on. Don't be a wuss. Come on.
Why was he running? Come back here and fight me like a man. But all was not lost. Days later, William Cohen had a change of heart.
I was so weak, I was too weak to defend, and so I attacked.
Now that's what I wanted to hear. Because what's the use of spending trillions of dollars all those years in order to become the #1 uncontested superpower of the world, only to have our war machine run by a poet? Like most pansies when they're pushed into a corner, he had to prove himself to be a man. And did he ever? First, he bombs Afghanistan. Hate to Bibi. Start the body count. Our guy knows how to take out tent loads of innocent people. Still think Cohen's a gentleman, Mr. Ambassador? Tell it to the people working in your medicine facility. We don't get mad in America. We kill Sudanese civilians. Still think Cohen's weak, Mr. Salal? Well, he's tough enough to smart bomb Iraqi apartment buildings full of women and children. And now he's blowing up Serbians on trains. And the occasional Chinese embassy. That'll show him. Next up, North Korea and Jefferson Elementary School in Arlington, Virginia.
Thank you. All right. I think it's time once again for this week's Awful Truth.
Last week on The Awful Truth, we told you about Lucianne Goldberg, the woman who had Linda Tripp tape her conversations with Monica Lewinsky.
I thought it was a ball to listen to this stuff.
And thus began the whole impeachment fiasco. Invading someone's privacy sounded like fun to Lucy, and to us, too.
How about if I was, like, filming what was going on in your apartment?
Well, I try not to say anything that I wouldn't say on tape.
We began to systematically strip Lucienne of her privacy. Tissue and hair samples were gathered. Cameras were set up.
I have a web camera placed directly across the street from the apartment of Lucienne Goldberg. That's her living room on the left. That's her bedroom on the right.
And finally, a website.
Right now, anyone in the world can go on the internet to www.iclucy.com.
Our plan is complete. Lucy has her own show. And now you can watch Lucy Goldberg in the privacy of your own home. Just make sure no one's watching you. Tune in next week when Michael calls Lucy and asks her to get ready for her close-up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I was on the Today Show recently. Well, the Weekend Today Show. They won't let me on the real Today Show. But the woman who was interviewing me was really getting down on me for, Mike, why are you all complaining about downsizing and all this? The economy's great. Everything's wonderful. Things are great. Let's go to a commercial. Thanks, Mike, for coming in. And then as soon as we went to the commercial, the guy from behind camera one stepped out from behind the camera and he goes, Mike, I've been a temp here at NBC for 8 years. 8 years? And then the guy from camera two steps out from behind the camera and he goes, yeah, I've been a temp here for 12 years. 12? How could you be a temp for 12 years? 12 years is not temporary, right? I mean, if you have a 12-year-old child, that's not a temporary child. That's like, that's the real deal at that point. 12 years. The sound guy says to me, yeah, well, the health care, we don't have very good health care. In fact, we got a sign-up list over here on the wall for Joe. A lamp fell from the ceiling here and busted his foot. And so we're taking up a collection for him here. And we're just wondering maybe if you wanted to, donate some money to Joe. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm at NBC, the #1 network in the country, owned by General Electric, one of the top 5 corporations in the world. And it's like Calcutta in here, it's like alms for the poor. They're begging, the crew is begging the guests for help. What is going on here? And I'm thinking, geez, we've turned into this temp nation. I tried to address this in my movie, the big one, where I visited the headquarters of Manpower Incorporated. I took an unemployed worker in there to see if I could get him a temp job. Well, that seemed to upset the people at Manpower. And after the movie came out, they sent out this piece of paper to all of their field offices across the world, and it's called the Michael Moore Alert. And there's a point-by-point thing that each of their employees in their field offices are supposed to follow should I show up on their doorstep. So I figured, well, what I got to do is, I guess, take a tour across the country and visit all the Manpower offices to see how well they're following the memo from corporate headquarters, right? So that's what I decided to do, and I called my little challenge, my little game show, Mind That Memo.
Welcome to Mind That Memo, the game show that tests corporate efficiency in the age of the new global economics. Our corporate contestant is headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with branch offices all over the country and the world. Its hobbies include huge profits and negligible benefits. It just surpassed General Motors as the #1 employer in the United States and moved on to becoming the #1 employer in the world. Please welcome the international company that guarantees people a job for a day, Manpower International. And for this week's challenger, we have corporate watchdog filmmaker Michael Moore. While Michael was filming his movie, The Big One, he brought a laid-off worker to Manpower headquarters to try to get him a job for a day.
You took me by surprise, and I'd like to find out more about the situation.
Soon after that, Manpower sent out a highly confidential memo called the Michael Moore Alert to all branch offices. It demanded every employee follow specific instructions should Michael pay a visit. These include: be polite but firm, ask him to leave, Call headquarters. Do not respond to questions. Do not call police. Now, here's how we play the game. Michael goes into random Manpower offices all over the world with a checklist. If they mine that memo, Manpower scores. If they don't, Michael scores. Now it's time to mine that memo! Are the contestants ready?
I love a good corporate challenge.
Are you ready, Manpower?
Oh, God. I can ask. I don't think so.
Here we go! First stop, Manpower Inc. in Los Angeles, California. Who knows what'll happen? Let's listen in.
I'm Michael Moore.
Hi.
How you doing? Your name?
Erica.
Erica, and...
How can I help you?
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Fine.
What's your name?
How can I help you?
Well, I'm Michael Moore, and I'm going around to visit various Manpower offices to congratulate them, first of all, on becoming the #1 employer in the United States. Okay. Many points of the directive from headquarters were not followed, including lack of politeness to yours truly.
If you feel that I'm being rude, I apologize, but I am.
But they did follow the memo in other respects, such as
not responding to all of my questions.
Well, I choose not to respond to your questions at the moment.
She did prevent me from filming.
I'm calling our supervisor.
You're not calling the police, are you?
Oh, no, not at all.
She did not threaten to call the police, although security is on their way up here right now.
What are you guys doing?
Are you security here?
In the elevator coming down.
Is this a public space?
Not inside, outside. You can film outside.
Wow. They sure weren't polite, but they rallied by asking Michael to leave promptly and refusing to answer his questions. Manpower wins the first round. Let's see if Michael can catch up if he takes a big bite out of our Big Apple and takes on Manpower in New York.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Michael Moore.
Hi.
How you doing?
Sorry, can I ask you to wait outside?
Nice to meet you.
Can I ask you to wait outside? Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, we're just going to different Manpower places to celebrate the fact that you're the
wait outside while I call corporate headquarters?
You're the #1 employer in the country now. You know, and
Can I please ask you to wait outside?
Well, do you want us to wait outside?
Yes.
Michael Moore. Okay.
Everybody?
That was record time. All right, guys, come on. We'll be right here. We'll be right here. We have never been kicked out faster. But then, of course, it's New York, you know, so I would expect it to move kind of quick here, you know.
Looks like the city that never sleeps is a city that always reads its memos.
Any temp workers in here?
And it's another round for Manpower. It's the mega multi-memo moment. Since Michael's visit to Los Angeles and New York, Manpower is so far ahead, they figured why not teach him a corporate lesson, and they sent out 2 more memos. The new memos include such additions as, be professional and remain calm and low-key. Well, this certainly does make the stakes zoom up as we head off to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. At the rate things are going in this town, pretty soon every single Republican might be applying for temp work.
Michael Moore, hi.
Oh,
How you doing?
hi. I recognize you.
Hi. Yeah, we're just going around visiting various Manpowers to celebrate the fact that Manpower is now the #1 employer in the country.
Okay.
Surpassed General Motors.
I really have to call the corporate office before we can do any filming.
They're handling me in a very polite way. They're doing as instructed, calling corporate headquarters in Milwaukee.
Do you mind just stepping out here for a minute? Because we're just trying to do our jobs, and
Okay.
I'll get right back to you.
Okay, good. The DC Manpower office is batting 100%, and I would expect nothing less than the Manpower office in our nation's capital. Because, you know, these are the people inside here who are providing temporary workers and replacing all those lazy government employees.
Well, this town may take its time impeaching a president, but when it comes to mining its memo, it moves a little faster. Michael better get on the stick because Manpower just racked up another round.
You know, I just noticed while we were waiting out here for the Manpower people to come down that we are actually standing next to the building where Monica Lewinsky's lawyers have their office.
It's time for the Celebrity Company Wild Card Round. This week's celebrities are the lawyers of the world's most famous temptress. Be careful, Michael. Don't blow it.
We're just doing a little survey up and down the street here of offices that use temp workers. Do you have any temp workers here?
You kidding?
No, we don't. No temps?
No.
Ooh, tough break from Mr. Hoity-toity Lawyerhead.
Do you work here in this building? Are you a temp worker?
Uh-huh. You clean the offices there, the law firm there?
Good.
Dude, looks like a case of he said, she said. Let's see what happens.
No, none of the cleaners are temp workers here?
I don't know.
Because one of the cleaners told us that she was.
I don't even know what
People have
Seems like we've got no choice but to call that one a draw. Uh-oh. Unless, of course, we count who's got their shirt tail out and who's got their shirt tail in. Congratulations, Michael. You took this round by storm, and you're off to the city that first ended welfare and has the cheese to prove it, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi there. Hi, I'm Michael Moore. We brought Robin here because she'd like a temp job.
Okay.
Can you help us out, or?
Yeah, we'll start with the application. Do you like working with customers?
Yes, I'm good at working with customers.
Now, have you received the Michael Moore memo?
The Michael Moore memo.
Yes, there's been 2 or 3 of them at this point, yeah.
Let's enjoy a brief time out as this Manpower employee tries to find the Michael Moore memo. Too bad Michael gets to see all sorts of evil corporate secrets in the meantime.
Do you know what the Michael Moore memo contains?
Yes, I do know what the Michael Moore memo contains. If Michael Moore persists in asking questions, say only that you can't comment. Well, he didn't do that.
He didn't do that.
Lots of memos.
There's always memos.
Always memos.
There's always memos. So that would be my second cousin. Is she from?
We went to Maui and to... No, we went to Maui.
We've been here now over 30 minutes, so, you know.
Has it been that long already?
Yes, 30 minutes.
We have a timeshare, so.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
that's even better. And those cheap cameras, underwater cameras,
I heard those.
they are wonderful.
Where'd you go?
We went to Olaina to the luau there, and that's one of the...
Unfortunately, according to the memos, this is a complete failure. But as a human being,
He was very nice.
he was a complete success.
Very nice.
I guess being a great human being doesn't help your corporation win game shows. Michael ties it up in Madison, and it's anyone's game as we move on to Her Majesty's Manpower office in London, England. Tally-ho!
I'm Michael Moore.
Hi, Michael.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
From
too.
America.
Sorry, would you excuse
Oh, yes,
me?
no, go right ahead. Yes,
Thanks.
yes.
Good afternoon, this is Manpower. Nick Hexer speaking. May we help you? She's actually out of the office with a client at the moment. Sorry, would you bear with me 2 seconds? I just need to grab another line. Hello, Francis. Can I give you a bell back, my love?
Not enough manpower here.
That's lovely. Thanks ever so much. Bye-bye. Sorry.
It seems like you could use a few temps in here.
Oh, we probably could.
I noticed there's a homeless guy out there.
Yeah.
Is he sleeping in that cardboard box out there?
So England's got American temp companies, and now you're importing our homeless.
I don't know. He's been there about 7 years.
About 7 years.
About 7
right
years.
outside the temp headquarters.
And we receive post for him.
You do? Have you thought about, like, getting him a temp job, or?
We don't tend not to get too involved in social interaction.
Ouch! This chap ignored the memo and answered one too many questions. And by the skin of his fish and chips, this week's winner is Michael Moore! Michael wins a grand prize, a $7 an hour temp job doing data entry for Channel 4 in London. Congratulations, Michael, and we'll see you all here next week on Mind That Memo! Hotel accommodations for Mind That Memo provided by Carlton International.
Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you very much for being here on The Awful Truth. Thank you. Good night.